3.5 hours south of Alice Springs, a dirt track off the Stewart Highway ends at an old car bonnet with a hand-painted warning, "No visitors, no travel." This is the gateway to the APY lands. 103,000 square kilometres of country in the far northwest of South Australia, owned entirely by the Anangu Pitjantjatjara Yankunytjatjara people. Outsiders can't come here without a permit. Break the rule and you face a $2,000 fine, plus $500 for every extra day. It's a world unseen by most Australians. Just over 2,000 people live here, spread across 7 communities like Pukacha, Amata and Freegon. Alcohol is banned. Unemployment hovers near 40%. Life expectancy is low. Pitjantjatjara remains the dominant language, and traditional healers still practice law passed down for thousands of years. On the edge of the lands once stood Mintabie, a lawless opal town that in the 1980s was Australia's black opal capital. Even to this day, the unique shine and iridescence of Mintabie's famed black opal is still talked about by experts and enthusiasts online.
Look what we've got today, massive Mintabie.
With the closing of Mintabie, I thought it would be nice to review some parcels and some stones that I've cut and show you the quality of this material.
Miners, misfits, and fugitives flocked here. Stories told of Chinese millionaires landing private jets to buy gems, miners striking it rich, and prostitutes by the busload.
In 1988, there were 775 miners working in the Mintabie precious stones field. An opal worth $39 million was pulled from the ground. By the year 2000, there were fewer than 150 miners left on the field, removing opal worth $7.75 million. And every year from 2012 onwards, costs outweighed results. As opal production had collapsed, the South Australian government ordered a review. Its conclusion was damning. Mintabie was plagued by increasing lawlessness, drug trafficking and violence, and should be closed forever.
By 2020, the South Australian government shut it down for good. Residents were evicted.
Trade, I reckon. We were well and truly shafted. Well and truly shafted. Never had a bad time in this pub.
Mintabie is in my blood, so I think I'm gonna miss Mintabie forever here. And mostly all the lovely people that were there. We were very unique place that I don't think ever this country will ever again have such a place like Mintabie.
Mintabie was left to crumble, and Anangu said they did not want the town returned to their management until it was cleaned up. The township was closed to public access while all dwellings, secondary buildings, abandoned vehicles and mining equipment were removed, a process which was completed in July.
In 2023, award-winning photographer Brendan Byrne visited the town to document the haunting signs of lost civilization, overturned cars, plundered houses, and smashed solar panels. However, only a couple of years later, he returned and was shocked to see that any sign of Mintabie was gone.
It had been well over a year since I'd been up to Mintabie, and I'd heard from a mate up that way that demolition had started and was progressing pretty quickly, so I thought I'd go up and have a look. After the 1,100 kilometre drive north from Adelaide, I nearly missed a turn-off. Signage for Mintabie was gone from the Stewart Highway. The old town wasn't mentioned at all. Another 40 kilometres up the dirt and I was shocked. The whole place had disappeared. Nothing was left. Not one building. The only sign of a structure was the remains of a low stone-walled garden, the large boulder dumped on top. I parked up and walked for a while in the eerie silence, trying to remember where the old pub, restaurant and general store had once stood. The attractive old stone buildings and all signs of humanity, all were gone. It was like the town had never existed.
Now the landscape is reminiscent of a Mad Max movie set or some other post-apocalyptic world. The once prosperous town that delivered opal worth over $400 million between 1978 and 2016 has been deleted from the land. While Mintabie is gone, life inside the APY lands goes on.
Daily Mail Australia spent a week here at the APY lands at the invitation of Donald Fraser, one of the men who fought for land rights. He fears his people are not forgotten, but unseen. The APY lands cover 10% of South Australia, more territory than half the countries in the world, yet there's no tourism industry. Agriculture barely exists. Mining remains stuck at the exploration stage.
At the last census, just 2,333 people lived here, 2,048 of them Indigenous. Pitjantjatjara is overwhelmingly the main language. Only 3.8% of locals speak English at home. With isolation comes tough numbers. Unemployment close to 40%, 68% living with long-term health conditions, and more than a quarter of kids leaving school before Year 9. I travelled to Pukaja, a town of about 500 people. It is a school, health clinic, a dialysis unit, a general store, a roadhouse and an arts centre, but not much more. The youth centre that once hosted discos and movie nights is now a roofless wreck. Camp dogs roam the streets, which have no lighting at night. Barefoot kids kick footballs through the dust, while young men tinker with cars that would never pass Rego in any city. Groceries are eye-watering. $8 for milk, $6.80 for Tim Tams, nearly $17 for sausages. Petrol's $2.70 a litre, diesel $2.85. Yet the median personal income is just $296 a week.
Median rent for a corrugated steel house is $90. Most houses were built this century. Solid, almost indestructible, but quickly deteriorate. Self-determination here was supposed to be the great promise. In 1981, South Australia passed the Anangu Pitjantjatjara Yankunytjatjara Land Rights Act. It handed back this vast land to traditional owners, and it was meant to put the communities in control of their future. But 4 decades on, locals say it hasn't delivered. The APY board, designed to give every community a voice, is plagued by absenteeism and factionalism. Decisions were made far away in the tiny admin centre of Umua. Donald Fraser now admits, APY owns everything when it should be owned by the communities. We want APY to just be a caretaker. Board member Trevor Adamson is harsher. Our community should be run by Aboriginal people, but it's not. We're looked at as puppets. Hundreds of millions in government funding have flowed here, but the results are patchy. The pool isn't even operational. The once popular CDEP scheme, which topped up welfare with part-time jobs, has come and gone. Today, with unemployment still at 40%, most people survive on Centrelink. And yet, amid all this, one event unites the lands. No welcome to country, no beer, no food stalls, no grandstand. Just red dirt, 32-degree heat, and 2 all-Indigenous teams who've driven up to 10 hours to play. This is the APY League Grand Final, the most remote footy decider in Australia. The league covers almost 200,000 square kilometres. Teams travel vast distances to play on dust ovals. Some players run out barefoot.
It's more than a game. It's the one day the entire region comes together. Proof that culture and pride endure, even where self-determination has stumbled.
Behind a no visitors sign is a world most Australians never see. While Mintabie is gone, life inside the APY lands goes on.